Being from Wisconsin, I have seen many of my friends leave this state and move somewhere else. Their reasons range anywhere from simply the weather, a change of weather, a new take on life, or just want to experience a different state while they're still young. But for reasons I will explain in this video, I have not only chosen to stay in Wisconsin, but I'm happy to call Wisconsin my home. And I don't plan on leaving until I retire, maybe. I'm Josh Brost, your go-to Madison, Wisconsin real estate agent, and here are reasons why I am happy to choose Wisconsin and call it my home. We're gonna start off with a topic that has sparked more conversations in more recent years, and that's the fact that Wisconsin rarely experiences severe weather. And when I say severe weather, I'm talking like natural disasters, so your tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires, things like that. In my 26 years here in Wisconsin, I've experienced no floods, no tornadoes, certainly no hurricanes, and definitely no earthquakes. Now, I will say flooding does happen here, and it definitely can be devastating. But this all depends on what part of the state you live in, and the truly devastating floods are still quite rare. Tornadoes also do occur here and do have the potential to be quite severe. From my experience though, once the tornado tends to get to Wisconsin, it typically weakens into a severe thunderstorm or a couple of weak tornadoes. Very rarely are we getting these EF4, E5, whatever they measure tornadoes in, these super strong tornadoes that really cause a ton of damage. I'm not a weather boy.
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
But I think I've only ever had to take shelter from a tornado maybe twice in my life, and that was when I was like a younger kid that was kind of a little freaked out by the idea of a tornado. Earthquakes, forget about it. Hurricanes, unless Lake Michigan is gonna have a hurricane anytime soon, you will never worry about a hurricane here. And for Wisconsin having a large amount of forested area in the northern region, I haven't seen a ton of massive forest fires here either, like they experience over on the West Coast. And I think that kind of ties into because our climate is much more humid than the climates on the West Coast. Now, a couple of years ago, Canada did have some extreme forest fires, and we did get some smoke from these forest fires that caused the air to be a little hazy and the air quality to be poor. But to my knowledge, there wasn't really any damage from those here in Wisconsin. And in the winter, we can get blizzards, but the blizzards that trap you inside your home for days on end just really aren't common here. Depending obviously where you live in the state, but from my experience, I've never been trapped in my house based on a snow blizzard. I think the lack of natural disasters here that we experience in Wisconsin just give us some peace of mind that a lot of us simply take for granted. Another reason why I love living in Wisconsin is that we have 3 pro sports teams to cheer on. It's the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Green Bay Packers. As a sports fan, and particularly a sports fan in all 3 of these sports, I love having an excuse to go out to these events and have a good time, and also just being able to tie into a sports culture that's really well represented throughout the state. Now, some of you watching may be thinking, oh, it's no big deal, especially considering when some cities out there have 1, 2, 3 sports teams in their own city. But I think when you look at the other Midwest states, having 3 pro sports teams here in Wisconsin really sets us apart from some of these other states. Now, if only we could get an NHL team. I'm gonna keep it on the sports theme a little bit here, but another reason why I love living in Wisconsin is the golf in Wisconsin. The public golf here in Wisconsin is phenomenal, and we have some amazing courses that really aren't that expensive when you look at other golf courses across the country, and they are all really, really good. There's honestly too many great courses here in Wisconsin to name, but definitely check them out for yourself because I think you'll be a little bit surprised. Okay, another reason why I love Wisconsin is that Wisconsin is pretty much centrally located within the country. So that means if I want to get to the East Coast or the West Coast, it's gonna be roughly the same distance to fly to either the West Coast or the East Coast, depending on where I want to go. If I lived on the West Coast, for instance, and I wanted to get to the East Coast, it's gonna feel so much longer to get over to that side of the country, where it kind of feels like in Wisconsin, I kind of have my pick and choice of where I wanna go, and it's roughly gonna be the same flight time. It's also pretty cool that we live pretty close to the Canadian border, so if you do wanna get to Canada, it's pretty easy to get to Canada from Wisconsin, so you don't have to plan out a crazy long, week-long trip. you could honestly get to Canada and do a weekend trip if you wanted to. Another small reason why I love living in Wisconsin is the sheer abundance of fresh water. The amount of lakes that Wisconsin has is truly special. Wisconsin is also easily able to access a couple of the Great Lakes, being Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. These lakes are beautiful, and to me, they look like less scary and colder ocean. But if you desire to live on water without the risk of these large destructive hurricanes, Wisconsin has some great options for you. Another reason why I choose to live in Wisconsin is the fact that it's not overcrowded here. Traffic compared to a lot of other places in the country is simply non-existent here, but it doesn't feel like such a small city or such a small state where it feels like a ghost town everywhere you go. But if you do desire to kind of be private and live away from people, Wisconsin definitely has some areas that offer that lifestyle, but it's by no means the entire state that feels that way. And honestly, living in an area that's not overly crowded like other parts of the country is such a huge relief. I'm starting to realize that this video is just a brain dump of things that I like about Wisconsin. But before I get to my last reason, if you are considering making a move to Wisconsin or even the Madison area in general, be sure to reach out to me. My email will be either on the screen or the description below. You can reach out to me that way. And also please consider subscribing to my channel for more things Wisconsin, what it's like living in Wisconsin, and then all things real estate. And if you are moving to or have just recently moved to the Madison, Wisconsin area, I have created a newsletter that goes out monthly, and I would love to see more subscribers to that newsletter. We're up to about 150 subscribers on that newsletter. The Brost Post is a monthly newsletter where you'll find great restaurant recommendations in the Madison area, as well as fun local events to plan for here in the Madison area as well. So if you like things like that, consider subscribing. The link to that will be in the description below. Check it out on my website. Now for my last reason, I'd have to say Wisconsin overall is an affordable place to live. Now, is it the most affordable place in the country? Definitely not. Our taxes here are generally pretty high, but if cost is a big concern for you and you don't mind living in rural or smaller communities, there are some communities that are still selling homes that are quite livable for under $200,000. And honestly, I know a lot of Wisconsinites think the bigger cities here are expensive, and to us they are, but looking across the country, they are pretty cheap compared to a lot of major metro areas. For example, I meet with agents all across the country, and for instance, I know people in San Diego, and their average price point can get up to 1.5 million in certain areas of San Diego. A $1.5 million house here is gonna be well over 5,000 square feet, probably on some nice water, just a really good house and a really large house here compared to what you might find out west. And here in Madison, which is considered to be one of the more expensive parts of the state, the median home values here are still right around $450,000. So that'll do it for this video on reasons why I choose to live in Wisconsin and willingly choose to live in Wisconsin. Wisconsin isn't for everybody, but I think a lot of people are surprised when they get here that it's probably different than what you might think. If you have any questions or you are considering making a move to Wisconsin, by all means, reach out to me either by commenting on this video or sending me an email. Again, link is in the description below. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Check out the other videos on my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.